morning, students. Let us study our next topic in Unit 4, that is Security Management in Cloud. This is a part of Unit 4 and this is another chapter we will be starting today, that is Chapter 7. And the subtopic we consider today is Security Management in Cloud and Availability Management. Basically, security management frameworks are many in cloud, and we will be focusing on two of the security management standards here. It is ITIL and ISO. Various standards are there which basically have certain factors for managing the security in the cloud computing environment. We will see about it. So, security management and monitoring scope. The cloud services delivery model will create cloud islands. Islands are basically where you invest all the infrastructure and the network connectivity and suddenly lose connection and access to it. So, that becomes an island. So, it basically will create islands, cloud islands of virtual perimeters as well as security model with responsibility shared between the customer and the cloud service provider. So, this shared responsibility model will bring new security management challenges to the organization's IT operations staff. So, as in cloud environment, it is always going to be a shared responsibility. So, it brings in specifically security management challenges and for the organizations, specifically the IT operational staff. So, the level of responsibility will basically vary and will depend on a variety of factors, including the ones which are listed below. It is the software delivery model, service delivery model, that is termed as SPI, and then you have provider has to get some SLAs signed, so service level agreements and the provider specific capabilities. So, it also focuses on the capabilities of the provider to support the extension of internal security management processes and tools. So, provider has to have the capability to support internal security management processes and the tools basically, because one of the responsibilities of the provider. Now, as I said, we have two basically standards focused in this book, and the standards basically are relevant to security management practices in the cloud, and they are, it is termed as ITIL, that is Information Technology Infrastructure Library, and ISO, which I spoke of in the start of the session, ISO IEC 27001 and you have 27002. There are various others below versions of this also. We have just a reference to this in our connected to the book in our today's session. So, this is basically a security management and monitoring scope. On the lower side, you can see we have information security techniques, basically managing the infrastructure security, and information security management techniques are also there, that is on the higher side. On the lower side, you can see you have information security infrastructure, and we have seen the security is managed at the application level, the host level and the network level. We have already seen in the last sessions. And then you have information security techniques also specifically for the data, and you have different encryption techniques which we studied, and we studied about the symmetric key encryption and we studied about the asymmetric encryption. So, these are some of the techniques for securing the data. We also have data masking and content protection. So, these are some of the information security techniques for the data. And on the higher side, you have the security management and monitoring services. Under this monitoring, you have basically the health of the system or health of the applications and the softwares that are running on the server are considered. So, health, security, event and threats are considered under monitoring. So, we have seen monitoring is also one of the important tasks in the cloud computing environment, due to which you can identify which of the tasks are running and which of the tasks have fallen down and what is the reason for their fall. And then also you have the management in which you will have the ACL, the vulnerabilities, the patch and the configuration. So, these are basically helping you to identify the vulnerabilities, how to manage those vulnerabilities, what are the patches to be produced for that, and what is the set of configuration to have. So, this is basically security management and monitoring scope. Now, let us see about the goals of ITIL security management framework. So, basically it is divided into two, that is realization of security requirements and realization of basic level of security. So, under security requirements, These are basically defined in the SLA as which is signed before offering the services to the customer, and it is also specified in the other external requirements, or it is expected to be in the other external requirements which are specified in the underpinning contracts. So all these things are specified in the underpinning contracts, legislations, and internally and externally imposed policies. So there are various policies which are imposed internally as well as externally. So all these security requirements need to be realized in these documents. You also have realization of basic level of security as specified there. So this is basically necessary to guarantee the security and the continuity of the organization, and to reach simplified service level agreements basically under management for information security management. So this is the second thing which is very important, that is realization of basic level of security. Now this is the ITL life cycle in an enterprise. It's basically divided into various strategies. You can see there are various strategic processes. You have the service strategy, there is a cycle. So you have the service design, you have the service transition, you have the service operation. So that is a cycle, and all we are basically doing is the monitoring and optimizing the operations in the ITR. So the service design basically focuses on the availability management which is specified on the sites, and then the service transition basically focuses on the configuration management and the patch management, and the information security management basically has the 4 processes which is listed on the lower side. You can see is the access control, the vulnerability management, the incident response, and system use and configuration monitoring. So this is basically the ITIL life cycle that is basically followed in an enterprise. So the Information Technology Infrastructure Library, which I said is an acronym for ITIL, is basically a set of practices which we saw is basically a cycle that is followed in an enterprise in the last slide, and there are certain guidelines that define an integrated process based approach for managing information technology services. So ITL can be applied across almost every type of IT environment, including cloud operating environment as well. So ITL, as I said, is applied across various type of IT environment, because it is basically a set of practices and a set of guidelines. So ITL basically seeks to ensure that effective information security measures are taken at strategic, tactical, and operational level. So these are the 3 levels where the security measures are effectively considered, and they ensure effective security at these levels. So information security is considered as an iterative process, which is basically always an improving process, and which is basically controlled, planned, implemented, evaluated, and maintained by the various processes that are defined in the iterative process. Now ITIL security basically breaks the information down into policies, processes, procedures, and work instructions. So under policies, basically the overall objective of an organization is attempting to achieve. So objectives are basically highlighted under policies. The processes are basically what has to happen to achieve the objectives. As the objectives are defined now, the processes will basically work on to see that the objectives are achieved. So they are basically the happening processes to see that the objectives are achieved. Then you have the procedures, basically who does what and when to achieve these objectives. So once the procedures start working, so it has to specify who will be doing, what would be done, and when it would be done, basically to see or meet the goal, that is the objective. And then work instructions are basically instructions for taking the specifications. So this is basically how the information security is broken down into various steps or modular steps by the ITR. So the ITIL process security management is based on a code of practice basically for information security management, and that is also known as ISO IEC 17992-2005. So these are basically certain information security management practices, and also ITIL security processes are based on these code of practices. So the ITIL security management process has relationship basically with all other ITIL processes. So it has basically a relationship in the sense there is going to be some sort of tie-up between the different processes of the various other security management processes in the cloud computing environment. So ITIL is also related to ISO IEC 2000. It is 2 lakhs rather. It is termed as 2000, as it's the first international standard for IT service management, which is termed as ITSM. So it is based on and is intended to supersede the earlier British standards, that is termed as BS 15000. So this was one of the older standards when British were basically managing the things. So this could be coming under EU directive. So organizations and management systems cannot be certified as ITIL compliant. So organizations which are basically following the processes of ITIL, they cannot be certified as ITIL compliant. But the organization that has basically implemented ITIL guidance in ITSM, they can and however achieve a compliance with and seek certification under ISO IEC 2000, that is basically 20,000, but it is specified as 2000, 4 times 0. So let us see about ISO, right? You have basically two various frameworks in this, but we will be focusing on 27001 and 27002. So this is basically a formal definition which defines the mandatory requirements for an information security management system, that is in short is called as ISMS. Okay, so it is also a certification standard and uses ISO IEC 27002 to indicate suitable information security controls within the ISMS. So ISO IEC 27002 is merely a code of practice or guidance. So it is just a merely a code of practice or guideline rather than a certification standard. Some of the certification standards do exist where after following the processes you can get the certification, but this is just a code of practice or guidelines, and organizations are basically free to select and implement controls as they see fit as per their requirements. So there are certain basic questions basically when an framework is implemented. This framework will help IT organization internalize and respond to some basic questions like how do I ensure that the current security levels are appropriate for the needs, and how do I apply a security baseline throughout the operation. Now security management processes are many as defined by the author. So this is basically focusing on the author's listing. So relevant processes as recommended by security management focus and areas basically for securing in the cloud. There could be many, but the author has focused on only these. It is availability management, that is coming under ITIL, then access control, that is coming under ISO IEC 27002 as well as ITIL, and then the vulnerability management which is coming under ISO IEC 27002, and then you have patch management which is coming under ITIL, and then configuration management which is coming under ITIL, and then you have incident response which is basically coming under ISO IEC 27002, and then system use and access monitoring which is basically coming under ISO IEC 27002. So these are some of the security management processes. Now let us see about availability management, and in the syllabus for you have availability management for SPI model, that is software as a service, platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. Today we will be just focusing about the basics on availability management and what are the factors which focus for availability management. So this is basically how long the cloud services are available. So cloud services are also not immune to outages. If the services are down, it is termed as outage, and the severity and the scope of the impact to the customer can vary based on the outage situations. If the outages are very small, only a small number of people are affected, but it will still affect the business. If the outage is very huge, it is down, the system is down basically for maybe 2 or 3 days, then the business loss is going to be very heavy. So cloud services are also not immune. Recently you saw that Gmail was, Google was not working, it was unable to upload any attachment. So that was basically an outage, and that was observed even in countries like Japan and Australia. So these are some of the outages that happened. Students were not able to send mails, or faculties were not able to upload videos. So this was faced even by our faculties, because YouTube you have to upload the videos. So that was because the services were interrupted. They have still not declared why it was interrupted. So in such case of business critical applications where businesses basically rely on continuous availability of services. Even a few minutes of service outage can cause a serious impact on the organization's productivity, revenue, customer satisfaction and service level compliance. So it affects the business very critically if the outage is a pretty high level, to a pretty high level. So there are certain factors that are impacting the availability, like for example SaaS and PaaS application architecture and redundancy. So how is the architecture and how much redundancy is there? So this is one of the major factors. Then cloud service data center architecture, what is the architecture of the data center, the network and the system architecture, the various architectures of various systems, including the geographically diverse and fault tolerance architecture. Geographically diverse means where they are located geographically and what is the level of handling the faults of fault tolerance architecture, how it is. And then reliability and redundancy of internet connectivity, how reliable your internet connection is and how redundant it is, and these are basically used by the customer and the CSP. There are various other factors we'll be seeing. Then you have customers' ability to respond quickly and fall back on the internal applications and other processes including manual procedures. So customer has to be alert enough to respond quickly, and he should know which all internal applications are down and all the other processes are down, and you should also be able to manage with the manual procedures. Then customers' visibility to the fault, again it is related to that factor. How many faults are there, how he is seeing the fault, how he is able to manage the fault, right? In some downtime events, if the impact affects a small subset of users, so only those small subset of users would be known. So if it is at a large level, of course there is a pressure of managing it fast. But when it is on a small subset of users, it may be difficult to get full picture of the impact, as it would be limited to a specific maybe island or a group of customers, and it can make harder to troubleshoot the situation. Of course, any small environment affected or a small place being affected, it will create a huge impact because it is a big business of cloud. So they should immediately try to find out the fault and try to see that, try to troubleshoot the situation. Otherwise, it will affect the business very badly. Now, reliability of hardware and software components are also very important, and these are basically used in cloud computing environment or for delivering the cloud service. It is, of course, in any IT environment, reliability of hardware and software components is very important factor. If the hardware and software are not reliable, there are going to be many problems and troubleshooting would be a major issue. Then efficacy of the security and network infrastructure to withstand a distributed denial service of attack. We have seen that DDoS attack, that is termed as, on a cloud service. Every person, every hacker is trying to attack the security and the network infrastructure. So the infrastructure has to be so strong that they can withstand the DOS attacks or distributed DOS attacks. So distributed is basically from various locations they are trying to attack the cloud infrastructure. Then efficacy of security controls and processes that reduce human error and protect infrastructure from malicious internal and external threats. Basically, threats are going to be many, and internal threats are going to be a major issue, and of course external threats are also a major issue. But internal threats are creating a major impact on the cloud service environment. So, example, one of the issues related to threats, specifically malicious threat, is privileged users are abusing their privileges. So, they are taking advantage of their privileges and trying to perform some misconduct, or they are trying to perform some malicious activity. So, these are some of the factors that are affecting the availability or impacting the availability. So, these are certain assignments for today. You can just have a look at it. So, these are very much related to this topic. And if you have any query, you can contact me at this specific email ID. We are done for today. Thank you.